conspiracy and conspiracy theories. So let's just take an example. You can have a theory that the COVID-19 virus was leaked accidentally or even on purpose from the Wuhan virology lab. And what you need to do then is to investigate that theory, to send investigators, to get all the intelligence that you can get, and to make a determination. And at the end of the day, you may be able to conclude one way or the other, or you may come to the end of your investigation and say, I just don't know enough. It could be, it's possible, but I don't know enough based on the facts. Conspiracy theories are very different because conspiracy theories expand around the facts. They're unfalsifiable. So, for example, one conspiracy theory that I show that is promoted by, that is not more than promoted, it's become a life work, if you will, by a professor of engineering at Northwestern University, is in his book, The Hoax of the 20th Century, Dr. Butts. And he writes that the Holocaust didn't happen, but he's confronted with facts. Facts like there are tens of thousands of documents spread throughout Europe testifying, essentially documenting, not testifying, but documenting that a Holocaust happened, documenting the ways it was conducted. There's documents of the Wannsee Conference in 1942 where the final solution was put into place. And there's lots of documents of witnesses, of perpetrators, of people in the Nuremberg trials who testified. So what he does is he expands the theory, and this is common in conspiracy theories, around any facts. So so he says that evil, conspiring, moneyed cabal of Jews spread these documents all across Europe, forged documents to be discovered, and that people who testified to being part of the commission, that being part of committing the Holocaust, of the murder of 6 million or so Jews, they were, in his words, bamboozled by Zionists to confessing to crimes against humanity. These were pure innocent Nazis who confessed to crimes against humanity that it would have never occurred to them to actually conduct. They were just bamboozled. So even though his reasoning is more than suspect, there is no fact that one can throw at Professor Butts that he won't expand his theory around. And that's common in a conspiracy theory. And once a theory is unfalsifiable, it really enters a different realm than should be in academia. But what I show in the book is there are lots of academics purporting theories, that conspiracy theories, that are disprovable. And that's frightening for society.
You mentioned the Wannsee Conference, and we're actually coming up, I think it's the 80th anniversary in about a week, Jan 20th, I think, and where these Nazis met in this Berlin suburb and conspired to, the formulation of this plan, this final solution. So I always say, people talk about the Jewish conspiracy, say the Jews are the victim of one of the most heinous conspiracies of all time, because I think of conspiracy oftentimes as a crime, as a heinous crime. And sometimes we're not able to piece together, the moving parts and who was involved and what was the motive and so forth for sometimes decades. But anyway, that's the way I look at conspiracy often. It's a crime. I want to ask you about the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, because that's stuff available on Amazon. That must drive you nuts.
But I just want to say on the Wannsee Conference, the thing that people should remember is that 8 out of 14 participants that had doctorates. So being educated doesn't make you a nice person, and that's what's going on in academia today.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
Relying on educated people, relying on the protocols of the elders of Zion, does drive me nuts, because this was purposely written. And you're right about what you said, which is that people who start conspiracy theories with political motivations are really committing, it is a criminal act, because the idea was to incite people against Jews. And it's not just the Jews, by the way. I mean, if you look at what happened in Rwanda, where you had the Hutu power movement, who started creating propaganda that led to the mass murders of Tutsis, and the Turkish Committee for the Union on Progress incited hatred against Armenians, calling them in many ways similar terms to Jews: spies, vermin, infidels, whole bunch of evil terms. And they advocated the cleansing of Turkey by removal of these non-Turks, non-Muslims by any means. So these conspiracy theories are generally started by people who know exactly what they're doing. And it's not just on, and it's on all sides. I mean, the Soviet Union created conspiracy theories against, they created a whole bunch of conspiracy theories, but and when it came to Zionism, they just made it up in the 50s. And they made up stuff which, by the way, were extraordinarily successful conspiracy theories, because they wanted to undermine Israel and see if they could get it destroyed. And they said things that would come out of a modern anthropology department in many universities today. They said things like, the main points of modern Zionism are the militaristic, chauvinistic racism of Zionism. And they talk about the colonial settler nature of Zionism. And they could literally be found today in BDS and other boycott the best sanction and other literature that you could find. So these conspiracy theories can be extremely successful, even though from the archives we know that they were purposely made up. The Soviet groups were purposely just seeing what they could do, and sadly, unfortunately, we know Russians are still, some in Russian government circles are still making up conspiracy theories with the idea of undermining regimes, but we don't seem to learn.
Can I just talk a little bit more, or get you to talk a little bit more about the protocols of the Elders of Zion? This is kind of for these conspiracy theorists. This is, the smoking document proving that there is this worldwide Jewish conspiracy for worldwide domination. Where did it begin, and then how was it first used?
Well, that is a really good question, because the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, you're 100% right, it's become like a source document. And it was really first written in late Tsarist Russia, again as a noted hoax to incite people against Jews. And ironically, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion was adapted, a third of it, if you do an analysis, and I'm not the first one to say this, a third of it was adapted from a French novel that was mocking Napoleon III. I mean, in a way, it's ridiculous that that it's such a bad conspiracy theory. It's poorly executed. It comes directly from a fiction novel, and yet it has been made into a source text. And again, the Soviets continued to base many books on it. Yuri Ivanov's Beware Zionism. There were just updated versions of the protocols of the Elders of Zion. And unfortunately, it's still a bestseller in parts of the world. It's extremely distressing. And time again, it's been shown to be bunked, shown to be based off of a fiction novel, and yet it was actually, there's a fellow by the name of David Icke who purports to say that it's all true, and he's written another book, The Truth Will Set You Free, that's actually sold very well. So this book is not. This is not that old. It was published actually in just 1919. I'm sorry, 1903.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's totally made up.
And then Hitler, I guess, dusted it off and had it read to. Was it read? Did I read this correctly? That it was read to school children in Nazi Germany beginning in the 1930s?
Oh yeah, and he had clearly read it and as part of Mein Kampf. So this was a source document, but sadly, it wasn't the first time there were these crazy conspiracy theories about Jews. The protocols of the Elders of Zion, even if you, and I don't advocate that anybody read it, but it's so ridiculous that you should almost know you're reading a made-up novel, and which is what it is. And yet people don't do it because they're, to a certain degree, they've been pre-primed to hate Jews in many cultures. And so this seems like it's quite corroborating. And
So I'm wondering if I'm not the first one to make this connection, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. The idea that if you believe in the protocols of the Elders of Zion, and unfortunately there are people that do, and that there is this conspiracy for Jews to dominate the world and to control the world, and you can't believe in that while also believing that 6 million Jews who are supposedly members of this all-powerful group were murdered by Hitler and his Nazis. And so therefore, if you believe in this Jewish conspiracy and the protocols of the Elders of Zion, then you must deny the Holocaust.
so it's very interesting because I've read books that do sort of all of those things at the same time. So, for example, David Icke, The Truth That Will Set You Free, claims, among other weird stuff, is that the Jews caused the Holocaust and yet were somehow victims of the Holocaust, but they caused it. Maybe there were a few people dead, maybe not. That they financed the Holocaust, and very strange things. I mean, it's actually hard to understand what they want to say and what they're trying to push, other than somehow the Jews were very evil and they did the whole thing to defraud Germany. I mean, there's a professor, Stephen Saleta, who wrote a book that was published by Duke University Press. And he wrote, and I'm going to directly quote him because this is, again, written at the time he was a professor at the University of Illinois. Duke University Press is a major press. It's supposed to be vetted by other academics. He wrote, and I quote, because I can't make it up, "The Nazi Holocaust in Europe seems a direct antecedent to Israel's founding. There were plans from the outset of Zionism to rid the promised land of its indigenous people." And then he goes on, "The problem with the remembrance of the Nazi Holocaust is that it happens in isolation from relevant historical events, and worse, from their ongoing consequences." So he uses all sorts of fancy academic speak to essentially say that there was some sort of multi-generational plan to rid the there was a multi-generational plan to make up the Holocaust, to harm the Palestinians, and of course to take money from the Germans, and of course this is all capitalistic or this or that. I mean, these are so unbelievable, and it's so unbelievable to me, and so despicable to me that people make this up. As you know, Richard, my family was, on my father's side, was just about wiped out in the Holocaust. My father was the only survivor from his family, from his extended family. My closest relative is a second cousin once removed. And yet, these sorts of conspiracy theories are weaponized. And that's one commonality that happens among many conspiracy theories, is they have a political purpose. They have a motivation. And in this case, academics. I've cited so far 2 academics, but many academics are making stuff up about Jews. These are the people who are supposed to help us find and seek truth. And yet what's going on campus is a corruption of fundamental academic values.
Scott, we'll take a quick time out as we approach the bottom of the hour. Come back and discuss further. Scott Shea, leading businessman, thought leader, author of Conspiracy U, a case study. Brian Wilson taking us into the break with In My Room. This one's live from the Ryman Auditorium. Enjoy. Right here on Coast to Coast AM.
From the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Orange County health officials have asked residents to stay away from emergency rooms if they can because they're being flooded with people who may or may not have COVID.
We urge everyone who is either asymptomatic or just searching for a test and really have no symptoms at all to start with a virtual visit to a healthcare provider, to not bombard the ER.
Deputy Health Officer Dr. Regina Chincio Kwong says the hospitals are full. Most hospitals have set up so-called surge tents to handle all the patients. Chincio Kwong says the problem is even more of a challenge because 20% of staff is either calling in sick because of a positive COVID test or being exposed to COVID. Scientists tracking 2 local mountain lion populations in the Santa Monica and Santa Ana mountains say the lions may be inbreeding as they remain cut off from other breeding options by freeways. SoCal weather from KFI, highs in the upper 60s to the low 70s at the beaches, low 70s in Metro LA and OC, mid 60s to low 70s in the inland valleys, and upper 60s to low 70s in the Inland Empire. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Berumen.
Checking KFI traffic, we do have a crash in Cerritos on the 91 eastbound of Bloomfield. A vehicle went over the side of the freeway. In Costa Mesa, road work on the 405 northbound from Bristol to the 73. Cars full and 2 left lanes coned off until 8 a.m. And to Long Beach on the 91 eastbound from the 710 Cherry, the 4 right lane coned off for road work there. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jonathan Weiss.
Let me tell you about our Life Source Whole House Water Filtration System. Marjorie and I have had it for years. We love it. And you can go to my house, turn on any tap, and you get highly filtered, great tasting water because the system connects directly to your plumbing. It's a whole house system. Filters out chemicals, reduces hard water problems. You eliminate the cost and hassle of buying bottled water if you do. You taste the difference when you drink and cook with Life Source water. You're effectively getting bottled water quality out of every faucet in your home. You're bathing, you're cleaning, you're cooking with bottled water quality. Your skin and hair will feel different when you shower with Life Source water. No maintenance of any kind. No filters to change, no salt to add. Once it's been installed, you're done. Life Source water. Call 800-334-5009, 800-334-5009. Visit lifesourcewater.com. Life Source water, you can taste and feel the difference.
You probably didn't want braces when you were a kid, but now that you're older, you're thinking, I should have gotten braces. Don't worry, Bite makes it easy and affordable to get the straight teeth you've always wanted. Bite offers invisible teeth aligners that you can start at home. Bite aligners are directed by dentists, cost thousands less than braces, and patients see results in as little as 2 to 3 weeks. Order your at-home impression kit from byte.com and get started today. That's byte.com. Be happy, be confident, be you with Bite.
Your electric bill keeps going up. The cost of solar has gone way down. It's time to go solar with local veteran-owned Semper Solaris now and get all the benefits. Here's veteran, founder and owner, Kelly Shawhan.
In the military, when you give your word, it's just as your word. Work hard and keep your word. That's what we do every single day. I've heard about Semper Solaris and found out that they were veterans. I knew they were going to do the job right.
Add Tesla Powerwall and be ready for blackouts. We get the job done with esprit de corps and honor. Semper Solaris offers new heating and air conditioning systems with a lifetime warranty and new roofs with a 50-year warranty. We hire vets and give back to the community with our Semper Cares initiative. Go solar American style with Semper Solaris. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until 2023. Get the federal 26% solar and battery tax credit. Call 877-211-5591 or visit sempersolaris.com. 26% federal tax credit based on eligibility. On approved credit. Consult your tax advisor. Cannot be combined with any other offers. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Call or see website for details. Expires 1/31/2022. CSLB number 978152.
iHeartRadio Earth knows small changes make a big difference for the environment. Did you know that keeping your tires even a single PSI lower than recommended means worse mileage and more trips to the pump? So do the environment and your wallet a favor and always check the tire pressure. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips on smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
KFI AM 640. Coast to Coast AM. Now, here's your guest host, Richard Serrett.
Ike and Tina. I don't like Ike. I'm not talking Eisenhower. But I love Tina. Get Back. Would I be on thin ice if I suggested maybe, perhaps, possibly, I prefer this version of Get Back to the Beatles? Although I think this version could stand a little Billy Preston on the keyboard. That's what's missing. Maybe there really is something to the stories that strange things happen during the full moon. A new study finds that all biological organisms, from plants to animals to human beings, all have a connection to the gravitational forces coming from the sun and moon. Researchers from Brazil and the UK say their work reinforces the historical link between gravitational tides and how they affect the behavior of all life on Earth. The team reviewed past studies and also conducted experiments of their own, examining how both plants and animals set their biological clocks to the movement of these celestial objects. The new study shows that even when organisms all have rhythms to judge the time of day, their bodies alter their behavior according to this educational You can read the story nonetheless. It's confirmation, right? You're not crazy. People act. In the news section, coasttocoastam.com. You want to check out the iHeartMedia and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. This exciting podcast network features podcasts of the paranormal, supernatural, and the unexplained. It's currently featuring Strange Things, Sandor Piszar's of the Afterlife, and Heidi Hollis's Dark Becomes Light. Episodes every Friday. All right, when we come back, more of our conversation with Scott Shea as we discuss anti-Semitism and the proliferation of anti-Zionism on college campuses, right here on Coast to Coast AM.
You've been lied to. Lied to by corrupt Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine. Hi, I'm Inc. magazine best-selling author Brett Kitchen, and I want to give you a free copy of my brand new book, Wealth Beyond Wall Street, because we all know another market crash could be right around the corner. After losing 35% in my IRA in the crash years ago, I said enough. And since then, I discovered a way to grow money potentially double digits, reduce taxes dramatically, and also have my money protected when the next stock market crash hits. When the next market crash hits, you lose nothing. Call Wealth Beyond Wall Street now to get your free copy and talk with a specialist to discover this little-known strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose when the next stock market crash hits, all while building a tax-advantaged retirement. Call 800-908-1616 to discover this asset that people like Walt Disney and J.C. Penney use to grow wealthy. Plus, get one of just 97 free books left. We even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call 800-908-1616. That's 800-908-1616, 1-800-908-1616. Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. With new strains of COVID on the rise, we can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they're accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Is your current home loan the right fit for you? Your historic low rates may be a great reason to refinance, but when matched with an expertly chosen loan from Loan Depot, you could be saving money and paying more towards the bottom line. Call a Loan Depot loan officer and ask about our 27-year Smart Term loan or our 10-year ARM loan. Get a great rate matched with a great loan by calling 866-888-LOAN or visit LoanDepot.com. At Loan Depot, home means everything. Rates are subject to change. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
We are back with Scott A. Shea, Conspiracy U, a case study. Scott, is there a difference between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism?
Not really. Anti-Zionism is just a modern form of anti-Semitism. And